Hi everyone, I'm Theo from Palladium X, and I wanted to talk about why onboarding institutions into the Web3 and Filecoin ecosystem is very important, and what Palladium X is doing to accelerate that. So a bit of background on Palladium X. We're a Filecoin asset manager, and we're launched in September of last year. And we've deployed over 1 million FIL since January. Since January, we've also collected around 3% in gross reward income since January. And also in April of this year, we significantly improved our liquidity terms. So now we have a monthly redemption and also full redemption in 12 months. And since Filecoin Hong Kong in April till now, we've been working very hard on onboarding more SPs, more investors, and also adding more custodians to diversify our risk. And in terms of future goals, we're planning to move from a hard lock model to a soft lock, with also quicker and larger redemption. We expect to have around 2 million FIL deployed in the coming months. And we're also working really hard on providing Filecoin staking with borrowing and also with hedging. A quick overview of how we partner with SPs. Because we're a CFI structure right now, we start off by getting to know the SPs. We do our typical KYB, know your business, and due diligence. We structure our contracts. We set up the miner IDs, we deploy, and then we monitor you through on-chain and off-chain analytics, and we distribute the rewards back to SPs. And our current partnership model is a dynamic market rate. A few important things for SPs that when we partner with that we want to go through is obviously looking at your termination and sector recovery track records. That's pretty basic. And also QAP that you can offer per unit of initial pledge. Of course, that depends on network conditions, but that's also something we look at. The ceiling speed is also quite important. Although gas fees are quite high right now, so that is something we're working through with SPs in terms of how to increase their efficiency. And of course, we also look at the reward split between the miner and us. And also looking at going through DD for where your entity is structured, how transparent you are, how much information you can provide to us, and where you are as well. Because I think right now we're focusing mostly on SPs that are operating outside of China due to regulatory risk. And yeah, that comes to the last point, which is also where your hardware is located. I think one of the major problems right now with getting more investors into the Filecoin ecosystem is that in order for an investor to provide Filecoin to an SP, they have to go through a lot of hurdles. So obviously at the top level of the funnel, we have all investors. But the first stage, obviously, investors have to be long crypto. And because there's a sector duration for staking, they would have to be long as well to have a time horizon that's matching the sector duration. So that might be 6 months to 18 months, for example, right now. And then another stage would be they would also have to be bullish on Filecoin, right? Out of all the other cryptos, they would have to believe in Filecoin as well. And I think the last stage is also a really difficult stage, is that they're also willing to stake through a third party. Because obviously staking Filecoin has good rewards, but there's a really high barrier to entry. And educating the market and getting institutional investors comfortable with that is a pretty difficult process. And I think our role right now, transitioning from just an asset manager, we're trying to connect more parts of the ecosystem together. And we see the future is more about providing financial services that are combined with data services at an institutional level. That's really important for really accelerating the adoption of Filecoin. So of course, apart from the storage providers and the data clients, we also need to connect with investors, which involves going through all those obstacles. But actually, there are a lot of other parties in the space that can help us here. So for example, for market makers, we can actually trade with market makers to provide hedging, which would be really important for investors looking to invest in Filecoin, but also control their risk in US dollar terms. So that is something we're working hard to unlock, and with that, it expands the potential market for investors into Filecoin staking into a much larger market. And I think lenders are also quite important because some people want to invest Filecoin and stake it and earn the staking reward, but at the same time, they want to be able to spend US dollars, for example. So we're also working on how we can have investors stake Filecoin and also borrow US dollars at the same time. And that also can be combined with hedging from market makers. And of course, we also want to work on how we can use DeFi to improve our product, but that's something for a later stage. A quick background on like what we are right now. We are a BVI approved manager, and we currently work with insured and regulated custodians only, and we also have a licensed fund administrator. Currently, we're doing a 6-month lockup, but we're trying to improve that to a soft lockup. Currently, we also have monthly redemption at 2% at a fund level gate, and we also have full redemption. But we're also working on providing large in-depth redemptions with shorter notice period at a small fee, which is also something that can be facilitated through lending. And yeah, so that's really all I have today, but welcome to contact me and talk about how we can help each other and grow the ecosystem. Thank you.